a big thing for us as dads is, creating memories with our kids. What do you think creates a key memory for a kid where it's just, like the key memories that you have, with whoever it is, those ones that just stick in your brain? What creates those key memories? Like, what is it about them that just, like, makes them stick?
I mean, that's hard because I think you're referring to good memories.
Yes, good, preferably good memories.
Well, no, just because, like
those key
up,
moments where, like, they will not forget that. Like, it's whether it's something that you did, something that, just even... just it can be so small, or it can be just on a massive scale. Whatever it is, like, it's just a moment that your kid will never forget.
So there are like certain things that I think will trigger those cognitive markers, if you will. Like it's almost as if you look at growing up as this journey up a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And as you journey up a mountain, you gradually place, flags every so often so you can track your way back down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that in the terms of growing up, we're ever going to go back down the mountain.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe at the same time, we go back down the mountain every time we reflect.
I mean, yeah, because you're looking back, basically. So,
right.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing when you look back. It's just remembering, like, good times, because, some things happen and you reminisce, or you talk to people, or...
Right. And so for me, I think there's two very distinct opportunities for that to occur. One, unfortunately, is in terms of, like, extreme trauma, extreme pain, things like that. I think those are things that your kids are going to remember. Like, for me, I remember one time I was riding my bike early one morning, summer vacation. I cannot remember how old I was exactly, but I want to say it was like 5th, 6th grade. And we had speed bumps throughout the neighborhood. I hit the speed bump, and like we all had BMX bikes. We used to hit those things and try to see how high we could get.
Yep.
So I hit it really well. But when I came back down, I did not know it at the time. The nut on my front fork was loose, so I hit, and the front fork, the wheel actually just went completely sideways while my handlebars were straight, and I just went straight over the bike, and the handlebar dug into my thigh to where it, like, I'm like bleeding, and it's like bruising, and I'm like probably 100, maybe 150 feet from my house. I'm like, just like dragging my body back up to the house,
Yeah,
yelling, "Hey, help me, help me." So that is obviously very vivid in my brain.
Yeah, I have plenty of those too, being hit by a car.
Well,
obviously.
exactly.
Like,
I think you understand that piece.
That whole scenario, like, I talked about it before. If you want to look back on our videos, I think it's even titled, when I got hit by a car. But yeah, like
He's talking about the first time.
Every piece of that event, like, I can remember every single detail.
Right. And the point that I was getting at with that was that those kind of memories are very vivid and detailed. Like
because most of the time, like, when something like that happens, it's the first time that it's happening to you.
Exactly.
So, like, obviously you're going to remember.
But I think the mechanism for memory at that point is different than the mechanism of memory for what we're talking about here with, as like parents growing up. For me, most of my childhood memories are with my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
I do have memories of growing up with my grandmother, and then, with my mom, my dad, as well, in that order. But he was retired as of 2 years after I was born, so he was literally always there. So I think that, to me, that screams that being present in your child's life, like not just being around or living with them, but actually being involved with them,
engaging with them,
exactly,
doing certain things with them. Yeah, that definitely is very vital in creating these kinds of memories. And like you said, with your grandfather being very present and, a lot of your memories being with him, it's going to be the same way with Lydia, with my daughter, because she doesn't go to daycare. She gets watched by the grandparents. So they,
It will be similar.
Yeah.
Little different, but yes.
But
Your point, I don't think
she spends a lot of time with them because they are the ones that watch her while we're at work. So, she gets to do all the things that they get to do, man. It truly is like a blessing, for lack of a better term, because they get to take her to the market and all these people know her and she gets to help out, with different things, and she goes to the stores and stuff with them, and they interact with all these people because they know them and they get to interact with each other. She goes to car shows, she gets to go in the parade. The things that she gets to do is just, it's very rare that a kid gets to grow up like that.
Oh yeah. And I think it's good too, though.
Very, very good.
Because
there's no denying that.
It would be better for her to have those memories with her grandfather and her grandmother than to have those memories at, say, a daycare.
Yes,
because that's not going to ground with her. It's not going to stay.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, eventually things are going to happen, and those memories will last forever. Yeah. Those will be very key and very vital, and with her being with my mom for that brief time when she would watch her as well, she got to build those memories too. Are those memories going to stick? Because that was when she was, from the time she was born to 3.
You probably will.
So I think that, some of them will stick because she does remember those very, very vividly, some of them, but it's definitely not going to be the kind of memories that she's making now.
The other thing about it, though, is, and this is what throws me for a loop, it's very weird. Not even necessarily weird, because weird has this bad connotation to it. Peculiar. I have no idea why I can remember being a child on the porch with my grandfather and watching a snake slither across the sidewalk, stop, look at me, and then keep going. Totally arbitrary. Doesn't make sense at all. Not the first time I saw a snake. No idea why that sticks out to me. So that's the other piece of my point, is that we can't really tell what of the time that we have with our kids is going to be defining or stick to them, or for what reason it is. You could argue that the big things are more likely to stick, like trips to Hershey Park. I remember a couple of those.
We went so frequently because they would do trips with both of my parents' work. So that became just kind of the usual, because I would go once or twice a year.
Yeah. So with my grandparents, there was one year my grandmother was like, "Let's get season passes," and it's okay. And I think we went 5 times that year, and we lived in Maryland. We were ways away. So.
Here's another way to look at creating these memories with your kids is, there might be a time where you're trying to, because you try to create certain memories with your kids. It's just you are trying to give your kids the childhood that you didn't have, or you're trying to give them the same kind of childhood that you had, or what have you.
Or a combination of that,
or there's different combinations of usually parents are trying to give their kids the best that they can give them, provide the best, take them on trips, do as much as they can with them.
Not me.
So there are times where, you're taking your kid to, an amusement park or doing something with them, but you think that you're trying to make a memory with them for them, but you're making it instead for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing that I was going to say was for all the times that we went to Hershey Park when I was a kid, which is significantly more than I have ever taken my daughter. I only have like 2 or 3 distinct memories from that.
From taking your daughter?
No, from going as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I've...
Like I remember
there's one that sticks out to me, and it's only because, like, it was so crazy. We went to that arcade that they have by... It's like the big...
the one at the top of the hill by the Great Bear. It's a big arcade.
No, it's the other one. I think it's by like where the food and stuff is.
Yeah, that's up by the Great Bear.
Maybe
they have the big food thing that's in like a barn looking place, and then down below that they have like this little. It used to be a water gun game, one of the water gun races, and then across from that they have that big arcade.
It's been a long time since I've been to Hershey Park, but it was a big arcade, and me and my friend Jesse walked in, and there was a machine that was spitting out those blue tokens, and it just kept spitting them out, and we were like pulling our shirt out and like dumping them into our shirt. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And we had literally our shirts pulled out, like sagging, carrying these tokens. And we could literally just have whatever prize that we wanted. Big, small, whatever.
I just unlocked another memory. It was a 5-foot tall husky that I won at the ring toss right there by the Comet. And I actually won it. My grandmother, I think, was kind of pissed about that.
Comet was the white wooden one, right?
Comet's the white wooden one that's really old. That's actually getting new cars this year, I think, which is a good thing because those were getting a little questionable. But yeah, I won that thing. And so my grandmother had a Cavalier.
My mom had a Cavalier.
And when you have 3 people,
or no, she didn't have a Cav. She had a Cobalt. Never mind. She had a Cobalt.
The new Cavalier. But I had to ride home with the 5-foot frickin' husky that took up the whole damn back seat. An hour and a half back to Maryland, and it's like, this is really worth it. But and then I have memories like with my dad, like of going to the arcade that was in. It was originally called Cranberry Mall. At some point, they started calling it Town Mall. And we would go there, and like that was when those dump truck games first came out with the turning arms and just winning some aliens there, and lots of good memories at that mall later on. I don't know if I should admit it on. Came into possession of a handicapped parking sign. Don't know where that is anymore. What else? What else is a memory? Like, so I'm trying to bring these up to draw a conclusion or some like defining criteria around what is causing them to stick.
It is strange because I also have like memories, being like we were at the Hanover Mall and we got thrown out because we were being stupid, and the guy was waiting for one of the parents to come pick us up, and we kept trying to dumpster dive in the dumpster that was out front.
Why?
Because there was just like a bunch of cardboard and stuff in it, so we were like just being stupid.
A dumpster.
And we gave this dude such a hard time.
Oh yeah.
And finally, my friend's mom came and picked us up because she was the one that just didn't really care, and she was the one that we called so that we wouldn't get in trouble. Because we could do whatever we wanted at his house, and we had no repercussions or anything.
See, for me, teenage years were like summer was all about carnivals.
I mean, when I was in school, we had like the Jefferson Carnival where like that was the thing to go. You would go and try and, you would be dressed in your best, or like, you would actually put effort into what you were putting on. And in my case, it was like, all right, I need to put on my most like thrashed cool skate shoes and my jeans with the holes in them to let them know I'm a skater. I'm a skater boy.
I was always in some emo band T-shirt, a white studded belt, skinny jeans.
That came too. That was me as well.
Flip flops or DCs.
I never wore flip flops. It was always my whatever shoes were shredded the most. It was like that was it. But obviously, the skinny jeans and studded belts and the band tees and
it was turned sideways and
yep. I still wear my belts that way.
So we would do, I think Hampstead Carnival was the last, Manchester was the first, Reese Carnival's the third week of July, Gamber is before Reese, I believe, and then there was Sykesville, Mount Airy in there.
Yeah, we had one.
Yeah, no, dude, it was like...
I guess technically two with the York Fair, but that wasn't the one that you wanted to go, like, hang... Like, Jefferson was just small town, like...
I've been there.
Yeah.
But for us, it was like tour of the county, and we wouldn't go like every night, it was one night a week or something, and especially when we started working, because inevitably that's when we frickin' got scheduled, they're like, oh yeah, you're working summer? Okay, come in from 1 to 10.
Shit. Dude, I remember when I had my first job at Genova's, and I was in a band, when I was in my first band, and the first time I requested off ever, the whole family for the pizza shop needed off. And I was like, I have a show, like I can't come in. And they were like, well, if you don't come in, you're fired. And I was like, well, I'll just quit right now. And I just walked out. Then the one of the family members had to stay and do dishes all night because I left. So that serves her right.
My first job was actually at a car lot. My second job was at Walmart. I worked at Walmart for several years. It's hilarious. Employee of the month is literally like spot the fuck on. And so, I mean, when your supervisors are basically the college kids, they're going to community college locally. One of them was in a post-hardcore band, and like covered in tattoos. Dude, his tunnels were like big. Keenan Ports. I wonder how he's doing.
Yeah, there was a kid that would go to shows where we played, and he had like 3 inches in his ears. And the one time he was moshing, and someone's finger got caught and just ripped it right out.
That's a lot of blood.
But anyway, memories. Oh God, I just pulled this into my face.
I don't know what triggers them, and I can't find any common ground that really establishes. I look fat as hell.
Are you really looking up that?
Yeah, I'm looking him up. I
can't
find
wait until afterwards.
No, I couldn't. I'll forget. I really will forget. I can't find any common ground that really like has this declaring factor for whether it's stored or not. All I can say is that as a parent, do your best to be there as often as you can and have great times with them, because you don't know when it's going to stick, and you want what does stick.
Yeah, you always want it to be positive. You want to be present with your kids, pay attention to them.
Well, I didn't say all that.
Stay in the know with them and stuff like that, because you don't want to.
Stay in the know. Do you have any idea how many parents I have met in the past month that don't have a freaking clue about half the shit that's going on with like Facebook, social media, all this other stuff that kids are exposed to today? Please be aware.
Well, it's unfortunate that a majority of parents nowadays are iPad parents. You just hand a kid an iPad and you let it babysit them. You can you can expose them to, that for periods of time, but don't do it all day, every day, and that's all your kid's ever doing, and then you're just not even paying attention. You're just off in la la land doing whatever else. Like, pay attention to them. Talk with them. Especially as they get older. It's very, very, very important to know what your kid is up to. Because if you don't, that's very bad, and it can end very badly. And no parent should go through that.
If half of you had a clue what was out there, you would not let your kids have a phone without some sort of restriction on it.
100%. 100%.
Like, I have seen the dark side of Facebook. It exists.
Well, yeah, it's the internet.
I'm just saying, you think Facebook is like protected from all this stuff?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, no. People get by that left and right.
If there's a will, there's a way.
And Instagram is worse.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started